What's going on, everybody? Chief of the Rednecks, back in the house. So I have a really cool show for y'all today. I'm introducing y'all to a little bit of what I grew up with and the type of people who raised me. And somebody who had a huge influence on my life was my grandpa on my mom's side. He was the one who was the prisoner of war in World War II from the ages of 18 to 21. He died when I was 3 years old, but my family tells me stories about him all the time that really inspire me. But another person who I look up to just as much is my grandpa on my dad's side. And so what I have for y'all today is a conversation between me and him talking about what is going on in America right now and how it was different when he was my age. I mean, really the point of all of this is you've got people that are 65, 55, talking on the news, making some sense. And then you have people my age on the news and in the streets who are making no sense whatsoever. So I think it's super important for us to have a different generation's opinion on what is going on in America. Why are people doing the things that they're doing? Why is it that people are so hated for what they believe in nowadays? What you're about to listen to is the wisdom of a 93-year-old man who's lived life, who's been through all of it. I hope y'all enjoy it. So Grandpa, I wanted you to come on my show mainly because, I have a tremendous respect for you, your life, and, what you've been through, as well as, just getting a different generation's perspective on what's going on in the world right now, kind of how it was different, when you were my age. I guess the first question I have for you is how old are you?
93.
93 years old. All right. You're a veteran. You were in the Navy. So clearly the American flag and the respect for military and law enforcement is clearly important to you.
Real good. Real important.
So what do you think about the people who are going to protest and burning the American flag?
Terrible, terrible. I really feel nothing has hold them in here. In fact, that's one of the things in this country, you can go and do as you please.
Yeah.
Now, you don't get that chance in other countries. If they were treated like that in other countries, they'd be beheaded,
right,
or something, or shot or something like that.
Right.
So I think that, if they don't like this country, there's nothing that's got them tied here. Go someplace else. Go to another country.
Yeah.
Why are all these people coming to our country? I mean, from Mexico, from Italy, from Spain, and, they're coming here.
Right.
Why? If their country is so good.
I think that's a good point, but on the other hand, kind of what you were saying is, all these people who are burning the flag, who are disrespecting, really kind of what our country was built on.
Yes.
If it's really that bad, people wouldn't want to move here.
That's right.
I think you're going to find this pretty funny, but a lot of people who are white and on the left feel like they have to apologize for their skin color. So people are saying that just because you're white, you're considered racist, or you have a different set of privilege just because the color of your skin. What do you think about that?
No, that's not right. I played sports against them when I was in high school, when I was in college. They were sitting right next to me in class, and I didn't have anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
I didn't disrespect them for their skin color.
Right.
But they had their way of living, and I have mine. So
what about people saying that white people are racist just because of their skin color?
I don't believe it. If they're racist, first off, they don't know what they're talking about. Where have they been that the racist has actually, been the big thing? And you see them, crowds and crowds of people. Why aren't they out working? Rather than protesting now, somebody's got to be backing these people, I think, in order to protest.
Well, I think it's a perfect storm with coronavirus and, how many people are on unemployment. It's kind of created a perfect storm for people to go out and just completely destroy a city. And
that's terrible.
Go eat a steak dinner afterwards at home, It's ridiculous. I want to know, what was it like when you were my age growing up? Did people disrespect disrespect their president? Did people,
No.
loot
No
and
way.
steal?
No, in fact, the fellows that I grew up with, well, naturally, all the World War II veterans and so forth, and in my hometown, I think the population was probably around 12,000 people. But the big thing there was on Friday nights, we could all go to the VFW or the American Legion and party and dance and play cards and had a time.
Yeah.
And we never talked down our country. The guys that come home from the service, sure, naturally, most fellows, unless you really get them cornered, they don't like to talk about the bad stuff that they had to go through while they're in their service.
Well, I think that's a good point you brought up. I've talked a lot about how I'm part of a military family, and I think what a lot of people don't get is, people don't come home from war and just talk about it all day long.
No.
So they really don't understand what people have gone through.
Life is too short to try to shoot people down or burn the American flag. I think that's the worst thing they could ever do.
When you show that much of a disrespect to burn the American flag that so many people, including you, have fought for, it's just they should get a one-way ticket out of the U.S.
It really hurts when I see people like that. 10% of our population is still veterans.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are, my age and even a few years older. I don't know. I think I look better than a lot of them, but
you sure do.
Some of them have really been through the war in comparison to me. They respected each other.
I want to share with y'all one more story that my grandpa has told me before. Can you tell us about the atomic bomb experiments?
Sure. Harry Truman was the one that put the two off that ended the war. At the end of the war, when they set these atomics off that I was in, one on Bikini, then the second and third one is out in the Marshall Islands. Had 10,000 of us in the Marshall Islands, and the first, I think, went off on Kwajalein, and they had this atomic bomb up on a steel tower.
Yeah.
And everybody on the ship had real dark sunglasses on them. You could hold them up to the sun, you couldn't even see the sun. They were that dark.
Wow.
And then they had the countdown of when the bomb was going off. And when it went off, they had everybody sitting on the deck or sitting in a chair someplace with your head down between your legs. Finally, they said, okay, you could look. Now when you looked, just a few seconds later, you felt that big blast of heat hit you.
Yeah.
And we were 2.5 miles away. And then you heard all that noise from that thing and the big cloud coming up. This news reporter was flying around, come visit us after the bombs went off, and later on, he put us on the radio, and he said, there's 10,000 men out there in the Marshall Islands, and they just set off 2 atom bombs, and all 10,000 are going to be sterile for the rest of their life.
And you had 5 kids.
And I had 5 sons.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I could walk in there and nothing happened to me.
Oh, man. Grandpa, I really appreciate you sitting down with me. I love you, and thank you.
No, you're welcome.